Marcus Rashford's ready for a new challenge. Apparently, that challenge is not at Manchester United. Amorim, Rashford going back and forth. This is after he was dropped out of the team for the Manchester derby. Boy, did this accelerate quickly. Rashford wants to leave. He can leave. I mean, this is seen this movie before. Unfortunately, the youngster is overperforming. Got Eric Ten Hag sacked. He's been a part of a lot of sackings of managers. It doesn't seem to really change his mind. And Amorim's a real deal manager coming in, and he doesn't want to give it a try under Amorim. So is he really up for a challenge somewhere else? I mean, we have a great new manager coming in 3 weeks, and he's already saying he wants to leave. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's sad for it to end this way with Marcus Rashford. You know, came on, busted on the seat, academy lad, been in the club for 20 years since he was 8 years old. And we thought he would be the all-time scorer. I thought he'd be the all-time scorer, could be the all-time scorer for Manchester United and break Wayne Rooney's record. And you know what? A lot of it, he's been through a lot of shitty times, to be fair. The club has been like tumultuous. It's been a bit of a mess, but at the same time, here's an opportunity to step up, you know, refresh your career. And I think the way this is handled does not put him in a great light to do this like after a huge win for United with a new manager when he got like dropped to the squad, which is savage, but totally within the right of the manager and the right thing to do. And then drops his bullshit interview the day after. It's like, that's a bad luck, dude. But make it known. There's no ambiguity now. We know exactly what you want. You want to leave. Let's help you leave. I just think there's not going to be a lot of buyers for a player who is not consistent, who doesn't have a great goal scoring record, doesn't have a great fitness record, and is on sky high wages, the highest paid player of the team. So, yeah, it's sad. It's sad that it's going this way. He's shown that he's also a little tone deaf. He just needs to grind, have that Amad Diallo type of work ethic, and just kind of annoy the way he did when he was like frozen out by fucking Eric Ten Hag for no reason. He just kept grinding, and he showed how good of a player he is to the new manager, and that's why he's going to play every game he's fit to play for. So I wish Rashford all the best. I worry about our ability to foist him, though. I don't think there's a lot of buyers these days. If this was Zerp this couple of years ago when like the Saudis were just spending money like crazy, I'd have no doubt we could sell him for 100 million or 70 good money. Now I think we'd be lucky to get 40 because it's hard. It's going to be hard. There's not that many buyers, sir. Who's buying Marcus Rashford at 27 years old with an injury record on $400K a week?
Before we get to who's going to buy him, let's just address the comments he made in the interview. Like you said, he was dropped from the squad against City, right? And that was for a reason. Amorim dropped him and they dropped Garnacho. He has not said exactly why, but I could assume it's not because he's doing a great job and he's not like an amazing teammate. Amorim just was hired, right? So we have to, the context goes, he went to New York City, new manager's coming in. Maybe you'd want to stay local, maybe post some photos of you working out, getting ready for the new manager. He decides to go courtside at the Knicks game. All right, whatever. He's having a break. Clearing in the air. He'll come back ready to go. He comes back, gets dropped for probably a good reason. And then he decides to come out with this Harry Winter interview, which for me, the call to do the interview, I have issue with. United is a circus, and Rashford isn't, in my opinion, like at the current moment, he isn't good enough to have like a Ronaldo-esque Piers Morgan interview over winter break. He needs to just keep his mouth shut, talk to the manager, figure this out behind closed doors, and then get a deal in January, get a deal in the summer, and just like play your football, man. Like you don't have to get along. He could ask to leave, and then they sell him in the summer. He just tries his best for the rest of the season. Why come out publicly and say, I'm out of here? I think that hurts the locker room, hurts the team, and he's putting himself above the team. And here's the comments. He says, if I know a situation is already bad, I'm not going to make it worse. I've seen how other players have left in the past, and I don't want to be that person. When I leave, I'll make a statement. It will be from me. When I leave, it's going to be no hard feelings. You're not going to have any negative comments from me about Manchester United. That's me as a person. For me personally, I think I'm ready for a new challenge and the next steps. And this is what's so confusing is because we just have a new manager. This is a new challenge. And he's saying basically, I want to leave United. He did this behind the club's back. He did this behind the manager's back. And that to me is classless. Like, I think you got to have the conversation with the new manager. You got to figure it out if you want to be here, and they could sell you in the summer. This doesn't help anybody. This just only feeds the leaks and the circus around Manchester United. And so I do have to fault him with the way he's doing it. Like you said, it's sad where this has gone. Marcus should not be where he is today. Like, and if he was honest with himself, which I don't think he is, and if he surrounded himself with good people, which I don't think he does, I think he would feel the same way. But instead, he feels probably like a victim, and that United's got him down, and he needs to leave, and blaming everyone else for his problems when he probably has to have a long, hard look in the mirror. This is a guy who had a good season for United. He literally got dropped from England. He's not doing well. And we just had a coach get fired, and he doesn't even want to step up to play for the new guy. And I don't know where your career is going when you're getting dropped from England, and then you get a new manager and you don't even care. And so, like, are you really ready to step up for another club or another situation? So for me, this has red flags all around it. That's why I'm not worried about getting rid of him. Get rid of him for $15 million. I don't care. He doesn't want to be here. You move on. That's kind of where I'm coming out.
And it's all pure profit with the homegrown rules. So United will benefit there. No. Anytime you're doing an interview like that's not sanctioned by the club mid-season, that's a shit look. Whether it's now or it's a terrible look because it just speaks about me, and this is a bad look for Marcus Rashford. So he shouldn't have done it, and he's, I think, doing it in a way that's poisoning his reputation on the way out. Like you said, just like if you don't want to be here, just leave at the end of the season, right? Just like keep your head down, do your job, maximize your ability to get another job, right? This is a job for him. He has to find another job at another club who's willing to pay those wages, and just don't do this kind of shit. This is very much like kind of quitting. Like it's a little bit of like raising the white flag, you know?
Yeah, but that's why he's in this position.
That's what he's basically doing is like, you're basically just like saying call timeout, like I'm good. When in reality, you have to just gut out the fucking season, making $400K a week, and then be at the end of it, I want to leave. That's what you do. You do it in the summer. You don't do it like the day after we win a huge game against our crosstown rivals. So I'm disappointed in Marcus, but like you said, I hope he finds his feet elsewhere. I hope United can make some good money off of it, and we can invest in a young, hardworking, like grind it out for whoever. Like I'll turn myself into dust, just working so hard, running through walls for my manager, because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take lean.
Have you ever seen a player quit 3 weeks into a new managerial regime? Like he's just literally quitting. Like we just fired our coach. We got a new guy. It's like the Amorim era. He just like, oh, I don't like him. I'm out.
CR7,
like,
but he was CR7, you know, like he was 3 months in, but it was the same idea. But he was CR7. So that made more sense. This is a guy who's grown up with a club, who's had a poor run.
No, well, that's
last few years.
Here's the difference between CR7 is that Ten Hag wanted him to play a bit part role. CR7 didn't want to, and they had a disconnect. And obviously he left. The interview is classless. I agree on that front. But like clearly Ronaldo was not going to get playing time, and he wanted playing time. Rashford can have playing time under Ruben Amorim. He just got to show up and be a professional. That's what I'm saying. He clearly doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to run back. He doesn't want to show up. He doesn't want to have the right attitude that Amorim wants. And that's what I don't understand. How is he going to have a better career if this guy's coming in, who's the real deal, probably biggest young coach in Europe, and he like doesn't want a part of it? Like Rashford has a role at United. He chooses that he doesn't want it.
And that's
which
a shame.
Is crazy.
And we can't control that. That's a personal thing. He's been a player that broke onto the scene at a very early age, got very, very famous. The club has put a lot of faith in him. We've paid him a lot of money. You know, he's done some good things to the club. But at the end of the day, it's like this has gone sour. You know, it's like he's been around too many managers. He's too late in his career. And at this point, the only thing that would make sense for everybody is a change. This kind of thing always sucks, like going to the press, involving the press. Just do it between the club. This is familia. It's like you just do it one-on-one with the manager and with the front office.
What I'm trying to say is, like, looking at reading the tea leaves, you don't want anything to do with this guy.
Of course
you don't want anything to do with Marcus Rashford right now. You look at last season, what was he doing? Right? Going to Belfast, China White Club after the derby, after we got cooked. Like, he looks like it's like, are you all right, bro? Like, that's kind of where the territory is in. It's like, hey, man, you're making a lot of money, and maybe that's making him think he doesn't need to play well or try hard anymore or be a team player. Like, I don't understand what's wrong with him, because after last year, clearly someone would get to him and he would clean it up and be like ready to go. You just get the manager sacked. You got to feel bad. There's going to be a reaction. There's none. And then he's in New York City. Like
that doesn't matter. The New York doesn't matter. The China White Club does. The
in
New York
between
club
firing a coach
doesn't matter. It was
matters.
international breaks. Or
Okay,
if he came back and grinded out, it wouldn't matter at all.
Okay.
It's just that the fact that those are
many
are correlated. They're more correlated than you want them to be.
Just like when Paul Pogba was like injured in America courtside watching basketball games and then playing basketball.
He was on
and
break,
was
sir.
like,
He was on his break. He was allowed to be in wherever he wanted to be.
The manager said that was no good. Amorim didn't like it. He came in and did a first interview.
I'm not saying it's different. I'm not saying
I'm not defending
playing basketball with an injury is different than being on break and going to one of the great
let's
cities
put
in
it
the
this
world.
way. They're correlated, like him going to New York City when the
it's
new
a
manager's
red
coming
flag.
in,
There's a
and
lot
then
of red
him
flags.
leaving 3 weeks in the new manager's reign are correlated to his fucks given, which is basically not a lot. And that's what's frustrating to me because after last season, I thought he would step up. And this is tragic. We're all Rashford fans. I thought he would for sure break Wayne Rooney's all-time scoring record at United, and this is just like
it's a shame.
It's really sad. This is really sad. We all want him to like succeed, and to see his career going the direction it's going. It's like kind of like, is this really the right thing for him, or like?
I mean, right now, this is not working for anybody. It's not good for the club. It's not good for the player. It's not good for him as a person. At the end of the day, like, you know what? I want him to find success elsewhere because I don't think he's made it clear he doesn't want to find a United under this manager, and that's okay. But I wish this was handled differently. The manager has handled it well. You know, he nailed it. This was me. I probably Ruben Amorim and Rashford's comments for Brits. If this was me, probably I would speak with the manager, and that's right. It's like at the end of the day, this is how you feel. Fine, right? Best of luck. This is Manchester United. We love this club. You'll never find a club bigger. But at the end of the day, this is not how you do this. You do not go to the press. You fucking deal with it behind closed doors, and you say, hey, I want to leave, sell me, try to sell me in January, and if you can't sell me in January, sell me in the summer, and that's how you do it. You don't do this, like, cry to the fucking press. That's never the answer, so... Ruben knows how to handle the press, and he's been handled a shit sandwich early in his tenure, fucking 1 month in, and he's dealing with this, but he's dealt with it well. I mean, like, the way he's handled it,
he also said
incredible.
He also said to Rashford, hey, the new challenge is Manchester United. There is no bigger challenge than Manchester United, and there is no new challenge like what he's doing right now. That's what he said in response to these comments, which is what I'm saying is like, you don't want this new challenge, but you just want another new challenge. So maybe you just don't want to work hard, man. Maybe you want to go to France, play in a farmers league, and that's not Manchester United DNA. And it sucks to see a youth player like him come up in the game and basically say, hey, I'm good, and move on. But if you looked at his stats lately, non-penalty goals, 71st percentile, non-penalty XG, 27th percentile, shots, 25th percentile, assists, 22nd percentile. And this is what I'm saying about his career. Like, he thinks he's a big deal, going to make this interview, and he's going to go on and play at Real Madrid or somewhere. It's like, hey, man, you're not playing well. Hey, you were in Belfast last year. Like, doesn't sound like you're on the right track. You're dropped from England. Like, where does this whole, like, bravado come from? Like, I'm CR7, going to do these interviews and leave this club. It's like, I think you need United now. I think you need to play better and then get bought. But this is just a bizarre...
United might need that because we're going to have a hard... I'm telling you, we are going to have a hard time selling him. We're going to end up in like a... It'll be a little bit better than Sancho because he's got a much better brand than Sancho. Maybe that's not deserved at this point. But it'll be like 30, it'll be like 30 with like
We'd be lucky for 30, yeah.
With like a, loan to buy kind of thing because his wages are so big and he's not performing well. He's got injury issues.
He's buddies with Sancho too, right?
Oh, sir.
And so like Sancho
hard
left.
breaking on that early, sir. I got to feel bad for the guy a little bit, which is
No, but I'm saying he's buddies with Sancho. Sancho left. Maybe that's part of the reason he wants to leave too. Like maybe Sancho's in London having a blast and like...
He can go to Chelsea.
I just don't know. It's like he's from the neighborhood.
Let's hear from actually the scout. The Scouts coverage is pretty. Sorry, it's like I think everything you said we said over the last 10 minutes. Jamie gets it right. I don't like to say when he does, but let's hear what he has to say about how much this is a talking point in general.
He's not that good a player for the amount of time that we talk about. Wayne Rooney was. David Beckham was, these players at Man United. Ronaldo was. We had this situation, I think, a couple of years ago with Ronaldo when he came out and did an interview about Eric Ten Hag. Now, I'm not for any player coming out and being critical of the club. You know my comments on Mo Salah, a month or so ago. But for Rashford to do that, to come out without the club knowing any knowledge of it and just announce, you know, he's basically put in a transfer request or he wants to leave the club. I mean, that leaves the club in a really poor position in terms of what Jamie's just said then, in terms of negotiating his exit at some stage. So if he's really believes that he wants to still be a Manchester United player and he still wants to have a great career, you don't come out with a statement like that. You don't. You keep your mouth shut, you battle, and you hope that you get a little chance here. Garnacho's got his chance, okay? He's involved tonight. Rashford, that's what he should have been hoping for tonight, and then go and show what he can do on the pitch. Not putting a statement out about that. It's time to move on.
Well, that's a great point, because what Rashford and the symptoms of Marcus Rashford right now, it screams he's surrounded by incompetent people advising him, right? To put out the statement, that was the wrong move. To not just like talk to the manager, say he wants to leave, and then play very well and say goodbye to United in the proper way, like that would have been the better move. Like, I just feel like going to New York, as you know, you could say, hey, it's not a big deal. Was that the right move for the right time? Was that the right optics given the year you had before? Like, I just don't think he's surrounded by the right people, and he's getting bad advice, and you can just see it. And he's a great kid. Local lad, you know, he's going to be, I wish he was a United legend, but like to Carragher's point and those stats, like he, you know, it's going to be a tough to say goodbye to him in this state. You wished he would go on a high note.
No, but there's got to be something kind of, you know, there's something kind of emotional and that needs to happen with us leaving. Marcus leaving is probably for the best for everybody, like at the end of the day, because in order for us to do a real rebuild, this team is going to have to grit it out in a way that we have not gritted out in a long time. Probably since like there was a couple months with Mourinho where we had some real dog in us. When we had like, you know, Matic, and there was just a fight, and Romero. It was like a fighters team. We had Zlatan, and we just like, we're going to have dogs that are willing to run all day and all night, and all they think about is like how much they calories in, calories out, fitness levels, and that's going to be the ticket. That's the only way
he doesn't want
we're going to win
course.
that. And a lot of players don't want that. He's not the only one. Luke Shaw don't want that either. So it's like there's going to be plenty of players that get pushed out as part of that, and he's going to be the one that's going to have the largest like emotional attachment to the fan base because he's been around the club so long. He broke out of the seat so young. And he's been here since since LVG, sir, when he busted out of the scene as an 18-year-old. So it's going to be an important step in United's rebirth is that like we have to say goodbye to players like Marcus Rashford and Luke Shaw and Lindelof and et cetera, because like we need to move on and we need to start over and we need to start fresh and young with players who, you know what, don't have the ego that he does right now. Rashford has a big ego. Some of it earned, some of it not, but that's where we are. And it's like we'd have to move on from Marcus Rashford. I wish him the best. I wish it didn't end this way, but it's a new era at Manchester United, and there's going to be no passengers.
Well, he's not gone yet, and so now we're just paying him a lot of money not to play football,
Join
which
the club.
Isn't the first time. like line up. We're going to pay a lot of people not to play. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Marcus Rashford, is he going to leave? Is he going to stay? Should he leave? What do you think? Is this the end of Marcus? Brutal end. If it is the end in January, we shall see. Also, please like, subscribe on the video below. Only 20% of the people who watch our videos subscribe. We just hit 1K. Help get the word out about the America Red Devils, and we'll see you in the next video.